All right, welcome in 6:30, April 23rd. Another Friday safety meeting, quick COVID update. The vaccine rollout, we're at pretty much 55%, so that's good. We're on track on the governor's opening things up order that he put out last couple of weeks. So we'll continue hopefully to see more changes. Next week, we will have an update on our COVID protocols as we've seen some modifications to our protocols. As you can see here, we're 7-day positive average is way down at 1.3. So we're really starting to gain some good momentum here and hopefully continue that. Again, just follow the best practices as we all know what they are. And please call me if there is any known positive COVID case in your household, or that you know of someone that you spent more than 15 minutes with over the last couple of days after a positive outcome. We can go through that assistance. So with that said, I'm going to pass it over to Alberta Smith for the rest part of our safety topic of the week. Thanks, Alberta, for jumping in. Let me just find your name and share your screen. Okay, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. This week's code of conduct is be prompt, start on time, work appointments, projects, and etc. We're up to 141 days without a recordable injury. And this week's topic is about ticks. The little buggers have made a presence, but hopefully the snow has stumped them in their spot here lately. But as we're going into starting to put silk fence in and into our job sites and being into high grass areas, we are going to see more of this as we are out in our own personal lives, going out for hikes or out in the woods. We are seeing them. Protect yourself, use a repellent with DEET. We do have this readily available in the tool crib. Tuck pant legs into your socks and then check yourself daily for ticks and carefully remove any ticks. What is the titer test? We are now able to test for Lyme through Champlain Medical Urgent Care. The tick bite has been, in order to be tested, the tick bite has to be engorged beyond 36 hours. Champlain Medical will offer a rapid test post-bite. This is a 4 to 6 week after the tick was embedded for 36 hours or more. So with that, we can call Champlain Medical and get that test. And that will let us know that if there is any antibodies in there for Lyme. And then we have the tick removers. These were hard to find, but I was able to get a dozen or so. So if we can give them to the foreman and have them readily available either in the job trailers, that'll be great, because right now I don't have enough for everybody. And that's all I have.
Yep, thank you, Alberta. Ticks are definitely a biological hazard for us, and as we're starting a lot of work and doing a lot of tree clearing and getting that silk fence in, so it's a good reminder on our projects just to do a little tick check periodically throughout the day and definitely when you get home. And let us know if you have any concerns of a tick bite situation. We're here for your help and assistance, and if it happens over the weekend, we have the wellness program in place for that as well. So just let us know. Thank you, Alberta. Okay. Ken, I'm going to kick it over to you now.
Sounds good. Thanks, Alberta. Yeah, I've already had a couple ticks already this year. They're annoying and they're out there. And where I found that I'm less careful at looking, I'm always looking at my upper body, but sometimes it's down on your lower legs, and they're not as, you don't focus on the lower legs as much, and they can be there. So I'm going to share my screen with the email of the week. Is that visible to everybody?
We got it, Ken.
Okay, great. So no new announcements this week. We're still continuing the holiday, the healthcare premium holiday for employees that are enrolled in the program. And the wellness program is still moving along. It's had kind of a soft rollout, and appointments are available with Champlain Medical, and next week we'll have more of a flyer on what kind of the specifics are on what's available, what's not, and how to get into the program with a little more detail. Congratulations to Chico and Angela. This is Rosalind Therese Pratt, and she was born on April 11th, 2021, 7 pounds, 8 ounces, 19 inches, and she's photoed there with her brother, Eddie. So pretty exciting for the family. Congratulations. For new employees, we have a lot of new employees. We had 9 new people this week. So welcome to everybody. We have Patrick Sumner, Tyler Quinn, Jonathan Woodward Jr., and also a Jonathan Woodward of more of a senior variety. We have a Tyler Jewett, Nick Wilson. Nick, you may have remembered from when he was here several years ago. Also, the Woodwards were here for a short time last year before the COVID all of a sudden, disrupted everything. We have Jeff Brown, Lila Parrott, and Brian Foy. So welcome to everybody, and make sure if any of these guys are on your crew or women on your crew, that you introduce everybody and make them feel welcome and get them to understand what might not be obvious about the way we work and the safety protocols and everything. So for the weather outlook, I want to point out that there's no snow in the forecast. It is late April after all. Still snow on the ground, but there's none in the forecast. And then the COVID policies have changed. We're going to have a more formal rollout next week because this just came out essentially yesterday. It's kind of in a draft form for us. Our name and stuff isn't installed on these attachments I've got linked, but the information will be the same. And I have here a letter of appreciation from the Williston Public Works Department. We made ourselves available this previous winter during their plowing season and salting season, so that if they had a COVID outbreak within the Public Works Department and specifically the drivers for the plow trucks, that we were available. We went out and trained a couple days with them to know the routes, and we were available to cover for them. Fortunately, there was no incident requiring us to do that because they didn't have that kind of situation, but we were there and prepared, and the Public Works Department in the town of Williston was very grateful. They thought, I think at the end they say your time, effort, and those of your employees in this regard are to be rewarded and truly show that your organization understands and has a commitment to not only provide excellent service, but also to be a good corporate citizen. So it's nice to get those kind of letters. So now I'm going to turn it over to Ben for the project of the week. Ben, you're going to want me to continue controlling the screen? All right.
Yeah, if you would, Ken.
Sure.
So ECI contracted with the owner of a camp on Grandview Road overlooking Mallett's Bay, the Niquette Bay subsection, I guess, of Mallett's Bay. Grandview is that road you can see from 89, right when you cross the low point in the Munson Flats area, just south of exit 17. Grandview is that road that cuts under the interstate there, and it winds way out to a kind of a high ledge over the bay. It's a pretty nice area. And so the owner of this camp, he had just purchased it, and it was in pretty rough shape. It looked, the original construction, appeared to be on pole barn style treated timbers buried down below the ground, but it looks like at some point they probably developed rot along the ground line, so they were cut off and below grade were replaced with sonotubes. And what whoever did the work probably didn't anticipate was that this created a hinge there in the uphill side of this camp. It's built right into the a pretty steep slope. The uphill side really that earth, that lateral earth against the the wall on the uphill side had probably always been pushing the camp slightly. But now at the hinge in these posts below it, it now was able to rotate about that point and start moving down towards the lake. And when we got there, it was pretty precariously perched. So if you want to scroll down just a little.
Yep.
So our solution was, after looking at it and doing some engineering and planning, was to get some of the load off that back rubble wall, and by just digging out all the clay and soil behind it. It was graded right towards the wall, so all the water was pooling up against the wall, and obviously creating a saturated heavy soil to push against it. So it's to dig that out, replace it with a pretty healthy section of clean crushed stone with an under drain pipe at the bottom, and then grade it back away.
Can we get down to some
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the rubble wall.
So there's underneath the camp, looking at that rubble wall, and that's what put. Exactly. Pushing against these sonotubes, that's really taking the whole structure with it. Behind that, put a good under drain in, relieve the pressure, and got the water to drain. But we still had a pretty nasty condition at the interface with these sonotubes in the camp, in certain portions where part of the existing post remained. So what we did there is we dug down to the footing elevation of the sonotubes, and in line with the columns and perpendicular to that rubble wall, built 3 large grade beams to buttress that rubble wall, and to just use their significant mass and the friction with the ground, to resist that movement. And there you can see Marty, Todd, and Calvin forming up those grade beams. I don't remember if they were 2 feet wide or even 30 inches, but they were significant. And so in addition to the grade beams that actually encapsulated that joint between the posts and the sonotubes and kind of created some more of a fixed condition there, they were also supported that wall, and then finally they gave us a really good point to put some good permanent angle bracing in. All this wood bracing was pre-existing. We left it alone because it was under some significant load, but we put some nice heavy bracing off our wall in there to really lock the structure back into our new substructure. We kind of rebuilt the rubble wall a little bit, repointed it to some degree, and then put a reinforcing mesh and shot created the whole thing as well as a small return in the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
So not a huge project, but kind of an interesting one, and the homeowner, camp owner certainly appreciated our efforts, and I think they'll be in good shape moving forward. There you can see the shotcrete and kind of more of a final condition once we backfilled our grade beams. They may not be 2 feet. They may only be 18-inch walls.
Pretty cool. It certainly must have saved the owner a lot of money in the end to rebuild. And fortunately, it was all open underneath to allow that, and it was pretty much, otherwise you would have had to jack it up. It's already at that higher elevation from access below.
Right, like many of these jobs, prior to ECI getting involved, they had talked to a lot of contractors and a lot of engineers that came up with a lot of extremely expensive solutions for them. So we felt good about being able to fix their problem, at a reasonable budget for a homeowner.
Right. Good job. Pretty cool. Let's see here. You're all set, Ben?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, good.
I don't know much about the archive project, so I'll let you speak to that.
Yeah, that's overlooking Lake Champlain towards Stave Island or so from South Euro, and that was the Tinney project, seawall project back in 2012 in February. So wanted to show that. Was pretty cool. Looks cool angry look of the lake there. Wanted to back up to the photos here. I had a note of the new employees, that maybe that something about Jonathan.
It
Go
showed
ahead,
up.
Ben.
It showed up fine on that email, Ken. You had sent me another email that it didn't show up correctly, so we're good
Oh, okay.
with the names.
All right. Oh, I probably sent you an earlier draft.
Yeah, that's okay. Also, Ken, maybe just mention to anyone out there, if you're not receiving the weekly email, let Ken know.
Right.
For some reason, the last couple of weeks, I have not received the one that you push out, like I think it would be last evening, Ken.
Right.
So yeah, so then I end up, Ken pushes me the other one, but sometimes it doesn't look the same as the one that you guys have published here. So if anyone didn't get it, please let Ken know.
And if you don't ever get it and you're not on the list, make sure you check with me and get me your email address, and I'll get you on there, because it's a great way to follow along with the safety topics and what's going on with the company, and to get a little preview the night before.
Yep.
Sometimes we give away stuff first to call. We haven't done that in a while, but maybe something coming up here. All right. Well, good. Thanks, everyone. Talk to you soon. And Matt,
Ken,
I'll pass. Yep.
I had one more thing in case we want to mention it. There are some pay increases that everyone will see today. You can look on your e-stub if you want to have questions. Most of the supervisors, have knowledge or have talked to some of you already, but if anyone has questions about any of that, go to Jim McNall, go to Ben McKinney, Joey Appleton, Ronnie Johnston, Scott Burns, any of us. You certainly can come to me if you have questions or thoughts on some of the pay rate adjustments that have been made. I don't want people that haven't maybe been spoken with in the right way from their supervisor, and there's a lot of people here. If you got any questions, please bring it up to your supervisor, your foreman, the manager that you're working under. We can all help you out. We'll all help you out, and we certainly want to talk about it if there's any issues.
Right.
So,
like if you think you're getting paid too much, we'll see what we can do.
Yeah. And that goes for positive comments too.
Okay.
But I want to certainly make sure that everyone has a voice here to talk about this stuff, because everyone works really hard here at the company. And the last thing I had, be prompt. The code of the week, that's a good one. If you're not going to make it, call ahead. Let people know. I think one of Matt and I, one of our focuses was to talk a little bit about each code item each week, a little bit more. But that one, if you're not going to make it, and that includes getting home on time. If you tell the people in your household that you're going to be home at 6 and you're not going to make it, it is good to give them a heads up. And that goes for everyone, including Ben McKinney, who I think sometimes is guilty of that. So.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Try to get out of trouble.
Yeah. Okay. So that's all I had. Sorry about the extra time. But.
Okay. Be safe, everybody.
Yep.
Thank you. And please send me a quick text message if you watched it with anybody, so we can get good documentation of training of today's topic. It's good awareness training. Let's be safe and make good, healthy decisions today. Be safe.
Sounds good. See you later.